My favorite key lime pie turned into bars. Perfect for entertaining and make ahead. The crust is so crumbly and salty sweet. The custard is tangy and the whipped cream is luscious and absolutely perfect. Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale. Today we're making key lime pie bars. They're to die for. They're very simple and easy, but let's get started. I'm gonna start with the crust. I've got my oven preheated to 350. If you hear that, that's the fan of the oven. In a food processor, I'm going to add one of the magical ingredients of this recipe, and they are my salted pretzels. I'm gonna add that right to a food processor, and I'm gonna pulse them until they're pretty much all sandy, but there's still some crunchy, rubbly bits in there that is going to provide lots of crunchy saltiness at the base of these. It's just, they're to die for. They're absolutely to die for. This will be my third time making them in less than 2 weeks, and they are absolutely so worth it. I do the pretzels and the graham crackers separately, simply because the graham crackers just kind of turn into sand in no time at all, and the pretzels just need a little bit more time. So I'm just going to go ahead and let them go, and I'll show you what they look like when they're there. That is perfect. You see, they're mostly sandy, but there's still some really nice coarse pieces. Love it. Add it to a bowl. Doesn't look like it's enough, but trust me, that mixed in with the graham crackers, because here's the thing, I don't want to do an all pretzel crust because I think it's too salty and too crunchy and too hard. Plus, I really like the tradition of using graham crackers because I like the flavor of really good classic graham crackers with my key lime pie. So you just need 1 packet of your graham crackers. Get those all out and get them nice and sandy. Ah, where's the blade, Laura? Laura Vitale, as my father will say. I forgot the blade, and how dare you not remind me? How dare you? I'm adding the pretzels back in just because it's so much easier to mix it that way. A couple tablespoons of sugar, a stick of melted butter, and I'm just going to pulse this until the mixture kind of comes together into like a wet sand mixture. And I have an 8x8 baking pan that I've overlined with parchment paper on both sides. You can do this exact same recipe in a 9x9, but your bars will be thinner, and I don't know about you, but nobody wants a thin bar. But you can. Don't recommend, but you can. That's perfect. See? Perfect. Place that in your prepared pan. Get that all out. Beautiful. Now, years and years and years ago, I made a recipe, I'm talking like a good 10, 11 years ago, right when I first started learning in the kitchen, on a no-bake key lime pie, which is still lovely. This is different because I do add egg yolks, because I feel like it just kind of helps set these so much better, and it also offsets some of the tart lime juice. I don't know, it's just so good. It's just delicious. I've been making it like this for a while, with the exception of the pretzels and just making it in a pie crust, but it's so delicious. And I'm just taking a measuring cup and I'm pressing it onto my crust just to make sure that it's packed really well. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm gonna go ahead and pop the crust into my oven at 350 for 10 minutes, and then we make the filling. My crust was in the oven for 10 minutes. All I'm doing right now is separating my eggs. I need just the yolks. Just the yolks for this, but I am gonna save the whites because I make a nice omelet in the morning, along with some other things, of course, but waste nothing, I tell you. And if this was my nonna, she wouldn't even waste the eggshells. She would grind them up and put them in her soil. And let me tell you something, I've never on this entire planet met anybody with a better green thumb than my nonna, okay? And here I've got lots of freshly squeezed fresh lime juice and the zest of 2 limes. Fresh squeeze. Please don't buy the bottle stuff. It's not the same. I actually really loathe bottled lime, lemon, whatever. Not the same. Don't like it. Don't want it. Okay. In here, 2 my egg yolks. I'm gonna add an entire can of sweetened condensed milk. You have got to make these, by the way, because they are absolutely to die for. And if you wanted to, I mean, hey, listen, you do you, boo. But if you wanted to, you could do this with lemon instead of key lime. It would be like a lemon bar. But that's kind of different. Do you know what I mean? To me, lemon bars are not as like, I'm gonna say fudgy. You know what I'm saying? Squidgy, custardy. They're just a little, it's just different. It's just different. They're good, they're different. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure these two are really well combined before adding the lime juice. Now, some recipes call for egg yolks and they don't actually end up even baking this whole thing. And that's because the lime juice does the same thing to egg yolks that it does to seafood when you're making ceviche. It kind of cooks them, right? Because there's so much of it. But I do always bake them and they are phenomenal. And they're so easy. This is something that I always make the day before I'm ready to serve them because they do need to sit in the fridge. I leave them overnight, so they do need to sit in the fridge for a while so that they can cool and set completely, but making them is just so simple and easy. And my girlfriend, there's a restaurant in Margate, I believe. I don't know the name of it, but my girlfriend goes there often and she loves their key lime pie. She says their whipped cream is so good. It's like sweet, but not that sweet. There's something about it that's really like awesome. And so obviously we had to do a little bit of research and I asked her, she's like, you won't believe it. They told me what's in it. And I'm like, what? She says, sour cream is in the whipped cream topping. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Well, I stole that tip right away and it is so good. We're gonna do that later when we go to make the whipped cream. And it's awesome. It's absolutely delicious. And I've been doing it ever since she told me. So add your custard. It's okay if it kind of overlaps the crust just a little bit. And these are just going to go back into the oven at 350 for about 30 to 35 minutes. And then you want to let them cool completely on the counter before popping them in the fridge overnight. Tomorrow morning, which will be like a few seconds for you, we'll make the whipped cream and we'll cut them and we'll serve them and they will be phenomenal. Look at those. Now those were in the fridge overnight. You don't have to leave them overnight if you don't want to. You just want to make sure they're completely cold when you go to cut them. By the way, remember earlier I told you not to use a 9-inch square pan? I was very wrong. My pan's like 8.8 inches. Just, I don't know why. I don't even know how long. I kept thinking it was an 8-inch pan. It's not. It's 9 inches. Don't listen to me. Use a 9-inch square square pan. You'll be good to go. The recipe, of course, will be written in detail on the website. Why would anybody make an 8.8? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's make our whipped cream topping. This is some heavy cream. You'll also need some sour cream and some powdered sugar. Now, remember I told you earlier, my girlfriend said that the best key lime pie she's ever had is from this restaurant in Margate, and they put so much whipped cream on top, but it's not super sweet whipped cream. It's like sweet but tangy, and she finally got the nerve to ask the owner, and the owner was like, there's a little bit of sour cream in there. So change the game, so now you always have to make a sour cream whipped cream topping because it's to die for. So I'm just gonna start whipping my cream until it starts to thicken, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start adding the powdered sugar. Add your powdered sugar and continue to whisk until it develops nice stiff peaks, but don't take it too far and turn it into butter. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and add my sour cream topping. Now, my girlfriend says that the best key lime pie she's ever had has the same ratio of filling to whipped cream topping. So that's why I make a full cup of whipped cream. But if you want just a tiny bit of whipped cream topping, you can always go ahead and cut the recipe in half. But you know, I think this is so perfect. This is just the way it is. Just pop it on there and give it a nice even smear. And then just go ahead and give them a nice cut. I don't like to make them too big, but then I feel like we certainly don't want them to be too small. Those are gonna be very generous. It's okay. Oh, good. beautiful. I like to clean my knife in between just so that you don't get pieces of cake, of the crumb base all over that smooth whipped cream topping. Oh, that's beautiful. And then you can kind of just spread them apart a little tiny bit, like so, like that. I kind of purposely crumble some of the base just because it's so good. And it is just naturally very crumbly. And then a light bit of powdered sugar on top. I have to move this one or it's gonna make me crazy. A light bit of powdered sugar on top. And then I'm gonna serve it with some little edible flowers, and that is the most perfect key lime pie bar you've ever had in your life. It's sweet and tart. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. You will love it. The perfect make-ahead dessert. Go to laurainthekitchen.com, get the written recipe. Hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I'll see you next one. Bye.